So if you've done your engineering, how much of what you learned in your BTech did you ever use? How much of what you learned in your BTech did you ever use? Have you thought of that? Laplace transforms. Anybody use Laplace transforms after your math class? Green's theorem, Green's functions. How many of you used? Did you use it? No. Why? Why? That's a problem of education. Non-contextual education. When I teach my students, when in our class, when they do math, they will tell them, learn Laplace transform now, because when you get your acoustics class to transform from frequency to time domain of the signals, you need Laplace transforms. Right? Nobody told me when I was teaching. I sat, I did Laplace transforms. The exact same problem came in the exam. I was wonderful, 100 out of 100 in math. I knew I've conquered it. And then if somebody would have twisted the problem slightly, I would have failed that class. Lucky, because that's the only Laplace transform I knew. Right? Because I was taught that. No teacher ever told me why I am doing a single thing. Oh, okay, I didn't even ask. Okay, so I can't blame them. It's my fault also. And they would have told me if I asked. I was very happy sitting and relaxed and done with it. Will it be in the exam? Yes or no? Yes. I studied for it, passed the exam, moved on. And when I went to the US, the life was totally different. What you learn in 1 year in engineering, they condense in one lecture. Because there's a lot of connections. There's many professors, and I do that now. I keep on building. You've done this, here is there in your statics, here is there in your structural analysis, here is there in your mechanics, here is there in your finite elements. Therefore, put all together, here is how you do this. That's it. Go. If you don't know, sorry, not my problem. Right? So, contextual stuff. So, that's what I want you to do. Know the context, understand. If you have students that you're advising, that will help you to refine their problems better, help you to make sure that they are not just running loose. You can refine what they know better, because time is of the essence. At least in US, again, in India I think you have more time to do PhDs. In US, when a student walks into my door for a PhD after masters, a single day after 3 years he spends gives me blood pressure, because I am bleeding money when he spends more time. I want him to finish in 3.5 years. Time is of the essence. So I cannot afford for that student to be, I'm doing literature. There's no idea called I am doing literature review for the first 6 months. You are doing literature review throughout your life if you're doing research. There is no literature review for 6 months. Come in and get your hands wet. So in India, if you see, first 6, you see this. So I get a lot of these thesis reviews from India. And I always used to wonder, schedule of a thesis, 6 months literature review. What are you reviewing for 6 months? Right? Every day you read newspaper, right? Do you say that in 50 years I'm stopping to read newspaper? No. Things change and you read every day. So literature review should not have a separate place. Literature review should be part of what you're doing. Right? Every day should be literature review. Every week for graduate students, and I tell my students this all the time. If I find a paper in an area that you are working on, before you find it, consider that you have failed. That's what I tell my students all the time. If I find it before you, that's a problem. Because if I have the time when I advise 10 students and teach 3 classes and do travel all around, if I have the time to see it, what were you doing? Right? So it has to be. So I tell them every week, you should at least spend half a day on looking at. And right now, you don't have to go anywhere else, right? You can sit in the comforts of your room or your office. Everything in the library website, every paper is available. All you have to know is how to do a proper literature search. So contextualize, implement it the right way, and use the right set of tools. Okay.